Hi beautiful creative one, welcome. Today I am going to talk to you about motivation and what it means to be motivated, what it looks like to be a creative who has different variant levels of motivation, and I'm going to give you some advice on what to do when you maybe don't feel motivated or you're seeking other types of motivation. Um, as this is being recorded, and hopefully not for the future, but right now we're in Corona time. And so that means that 2020, we've been under a huge cloud of this pandemic. I'm gonna name that. It's been very challenging. It's been very depressing for a lot of people who have never really identified themselves as depressed people. I am included in that, and not that I've never had never identified myself as a depressed person, but the cloud, the shroud, the veil over what daily life looks like and feeling motivated to do things has been extremely difficult some days, and a challenge. And so I want to also pause here to say that if you feel like your ability to do things in life is extremely labored, hard, challenging, difficult, please, please, please seek some help. I'm a big fan of therapy, and there are programs like Open Path Collective where you can find a therapist and they're on a sliding scale to meet your needs. So I'm just going to plug that there, that if you're feeling that, please seek some help, because you deserve help. You deserve to feel lifted and also seen in that way. Okay, but we're going to talk about motivation in this creative sense. So first of all, if you're not feeling motivated, ask yourself, what no, let's go back. I'm not gonna edit this. I'm gonna start here. First of all, if you don't feel motivated, know that motivation is cyclical, and there is a cycle of motivation, and there's a cycle of rest that we all inherently own in our bodies. We aren't meant to be motivated and stimulated and in the creative, productive flow all the time. You have heard me say this probably. I have an entire course about creating with the seasons, as in your internal fall, winter, spring, and summer, right? Like there is a time for everything, and it does mimic what goes on in nature. I'll link that below this video too. So you just know that if you don't feel motivated, be with that for a little bit and see that, ask yourself, is this a phase? Do I go through phases like this in other times? And if so, how have I gotten through that before? The second thing I want to say is that when you are feeling unmotivated, go back into a place of finding different stimulation. Different types of inspiration can help you feel some new types of motivation. I talked about that in my last studio diary called Finding Your Style, and how to maybe grasp through books, through adventures, even quarantine adventures, through different types of media to help you to get to a new place of motivation, maybe a new place of inspiration. Julia Cameron, in her book, The Artist Way, talks about taking yourself on artists' dates, right? So we are limited with that in some ways, but to take yourself out and just be stimulated, be interested. I mean, even the museum here in my town, I think, is doing some social distance visits. So you can find some different input, so that therefore you can maybe have some different types of output in the future. Okay, the third thing I want to share with you is that comparison is a thief of joy. And this goes back to that first bit where it's all a cycle. We're all going through various levels of, like, even internally but externally, like feeling motivated or not. And so when you don't feel motivated, also check in with yourself and ask yourself this question: compared to whom or who? I don't know. Who am I comparing myself to? And take a moment and get the download. Who are you comparing yourself to in this moment of motivation? Is it what you think somebody does because you see the layout of their archive or online? Like, is that how? Do you think they're motivated all the time? And if so, again, reading biographies about artists, creative practices, I can link some stuff below this video too, helps to remind you that everybody has their rhythm. And so don't take what you feel like is an unmotivated stance and compare it to somebody's super motivated imagery, because they're also probably going through it too. We're all connected. We're all connected. And last but not least, move your body. Move your body, move your body, move your body. I cannot emphasize this enough. And again, linking back to the beginning where we talked about depression and feeling under it right now because of what's going on in the world. Movement, physical bilateral movement engages your brain. So walking is a huge, just take a walk. That could be it. Or just stand there, do this, and my feet are moving too. I love to freaking dance. I dance. I don't dance in classes anymore, obviously, but I've danced for a really large part of my life. 30 years of my life, I have identified that, or more, then I've identified that dance is a good feeling for my body, and I often forget it because we all, again, remember and forget. And move your body, see if that helps, see if that brings in some inspiration or motivation, and if nothing else, you're gonna feel good in your body because you've done some movement. Last but not least, I want to tell you this: that whatever you are doing and creating is exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be. I went through a huge season of creative winter during pregnancy and for a few years postpartum where I literally created one thing. Besides my life as a mother, and besides cultivating, that whole world for my child and being supportive in his growth, I'm talking about I created one piece of art. And my average, when I'm just in another season of my life, I create 5 to 10 pieces a month. So one piece over a couple years, that was a creative winter. And I had to really get in there and tell myself that it was normal. After doing some study and working with other people in my practice as a mentor, a creative mentor, I started to realize this is normal. This is not something to be fixed. So wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. Thank you for joining me for this studio diary today about finding your motivation and most of all, finding inner peace and acceptance for wherever you are. Thanks, loves.